Hello. What about others? Tripathi, Manohar, Rajesh, Satish.
Yeah, Vijay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so in today's session, we'll focus on CSS concept in SAP Fiori apps. So CSS is cascading style sheets, and the CSS topic is common for both SAP UI5 apps and Fiori apps. And this purpose of CSS is used to provide appearance related properties. The purpose of CSS is to provide appearance related properties for screens and screen elements. That means CSS is used to provide or improve the look and feel of screens and screen elements. CSS is to improve the look and feel of screens or screen elements. That means it will enable you to provide appearance related properties. Because of that, we can improve the appearance and look and feel. It's not to change the behavior of the screen elements, it is just to add appearance related properties. For example, background color. I want to apply background color, or if you want to use background image or letter spacing between each letter, I want to increase or decrease the space. I can use letter spacing between each word. I can increase or decrease the space, so that's word spacing. Similarly, margin, padding, border, font size, font weight, and text alignment, font style, then text alignment, text color, text transform. So these are all appearance related properties here. Text decoration and text decoration with color, text shadow, then border radius, border image, etc. So appearance related properties, something like this: background color, background image, letter spacing, word spacing, margin, padding, border. Similarly, font size, font weight, font style. Then text alignment, text color, text decoration, text shadow. So these are all appearance related properties. These type of things you can maintain as part of a separate CSS file, and that can be attached to Fiori application. It is just to improve the appearance of the screen and screen elements. That means you can improve the look and feel. So if you want to use this, okay, let me provide a CSS file with style class and CSS properties with its values. So you have to follow the syntax. You want to use any CSS style class or CSS property with its value, you have to create one CSS file. One Fiori app basically contains one CSS file, which is a global file, and that you can use it for all the views of that application. In general, one Fiori app contains one CSS file, and that CSS file can have collection of CSS style classes. Those style classes are global. You can use it for any view, any screen element in that application. That is how it is designed. So if you want to create a style class, then you have to use dot style class name you have to provide. And within flower brackets, you can provide CSS property, colon, its value. The next property, CSS property, colon, its value. And use semicolon, the next CSS property. One style class can have n number of CSS properties, and each CSS property contains its respective value. In one CSS file, you can have multiple style classes. For example, style class 2. Use flower brackets. Within flower brackets, you can use its own CSS properties along with its values. I want to add one more style class. So then you can use dot style class T. Use flower brackets. Within flower brackets, you can have CSS properties and each property with its respective value. So when you create a CSS file, one CSS file can have n number of style classes. Each style class can have n number of CSS properties. And each CSS property contains its respective value. Okay, let me write this. One application generally, in general, uses one CSS file. What is recommended? One application in general uses one CSS file according to SAP recommendation. One CSS file can have n number of CSS style classes. One CSS file can have n number of CSS style classes. For example, style class 1, style class 2, style class 3, style class 4. You can have n number of style classes in one CSS file. And one CSS style class can have n number of CSS properties with its value. One CSS style class can have n number of CSS properties with its value. So style class 1 can have n number of CSS properties with its value. Style class 2 can have n number of CSS properties with its value. So one style class can have n number of CSS properties and each property with its value. And in Fiori, we can have screen elements, one or many screen elements. So one CSS style class can be assigned to multiple screen elements. One CSS style class, ultimately it can be assigned to one or many screen elements. One particular CSS style class, if required, it can be assigned to one screen element or it can be assigned to many screen elements. CSS style classes are reusable. CSS file is basically a global file, and it's global file to all views of that application. CSS file is basically a global file. That is how we are going to configure in manifest.json file. We are going to configure CSS file such that it is global to all the views. It is global to all the views of that application. And CSS file can be configured in manifest.json file as a global resource. CSS file, it can be configured in manifest.json file as a global resource. Then that file becomes global to all the views of that application. Okay, so here, so for example, this is style class 1. It can be assigned to one or many screen elements. Style class 2, it can be assigned to one or many screen elements. Similarly, style class 3 can be assigned to one or many screen elements. It all depends. So style class 1, it can be assigned to one or many screen elements. Style class 2 can be assigned to one or many screen elements. Similarly, style class 3 can be assigned to one or many screen elements. So that is possible. For example, style class 1, you can assign to screen element 1. Or screen element 2, screen element 3, etc. Similarly, here you can assign to one or many screen elements. Screen element 4, 5, 6, etc. And this style class 3 can be assigned to a number of screen elements, one or many screen elements. So the point here is one CSS style class can be assigned to one or many screen elements of that same view or different view of that application. It doesn't matter. One or many screen elements of same view, or it can be of different views of that particular application, because style class and style class file, CSS file is a global file. Okay, this is a syntax we are going to use for creating CSS file to maintain CSS properties along with its values. Okay, let us add some CSS properties. Okay, let me go with step-by-step procedure here. Step 1, you can right-click the SAP Fiori project folder and then select new file. That means you have to create, step 1 is you have to create a new CSS file in your application or project. That's a procedure. Just right click your Fiori project, then select new file option, provide file name. Okay, so right click project folder, new file. And just provide file name. For example, Oasis style class.css. Some file name you can provide. Oasis style class.css. .css must be the extension. .css must be the extension for this file. So it's an empty file. It's created here. In our case, I provided Oasis style class.css file. So that is step 1. Step 2 is inside the CSS file. Inside this .css file, maintain collection of CSS style classes with CSS properties and its values. That is step 2. Maintain collection of CSS style classes with its CSS properties and its values. So here it's an empty file now. Let me create 5 to 6 CSS style classes here, and we'll try to assign it to some screen elements. So dot, for example, if you want to maintain style class, then you have to start with dot. Dot, for example, style class 1. Use flower brackets. Within that, provide CSS properties. Right side, its values. Similarly, dot style class 2. So that's a basic syntax you need to follow. Dot style class 3. Let me maintain some of these things. Dot style class 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 6 I have maintained here. In each style class, we can maintain some CSS properties along with its values. For example, here I can use background-image. And for this, I can use URL and provide the image name. / image name you need to provide. Background-image, that is a CSS property. Colon, you have to provide value. Value is URL. Within brackets, in double quotes, you have to provide the image name. For example, let me use Sachin.jpg file. I want to use this as a background image. Sachinphoto.jpg. Let us use that as a background image. I want to use it for form. I want to use it for form screen elements in second screen. Similarly, let me use font weight. One of the properties, CSS property. Let me use bold. Bold is a value. You want to mention font size. For example, I want to maintain 6 pixel. Font size for simple form screen elements. And font style. Let me use italic. Text alignment. Let me try with left alignment. Then letter spacing. Let me use between each letter, let me use 0.5 pixel. Word spacing, let me use between each word, I want to generate 1 pixel gap. So you can use word spacing 1 pixel. So left side CSS properties, right side its corresponding values. Now for style class 2, let me mention some more properties here. For example, I want to use text color here as green. And text transform. That's one of the property. Let me use capitalize. Text decoration. You can use underline. Text decoration color, I think. You can use red. Then style class 3, let me add another background color. Here we have used background image. Let me add background color. Background color, I want to use it for third view simple form. Third view simple form, I want to enable background color. For example, orange. And then style class 4. Let me use another background image for table screen element. I want to use a different background image. So you can use that here. Background hyphen image. Value will be URL. In brackets, use double quote slash image name. For example, bg.jpg. Similarly, let me use style class 5. Style class 5, I want to use it for second table, which is getting data from second service. I want to enable resize option. Table should be resized when you drag. So for that purpose, let me use style class 5. First, let me use border. For example, 2 pixel solid border. And I want to use some padding. For example, 20 pixel. Let me use width. Let me use, for example, 950 pixel. And I want to enable resize option for that entire table. So you can use both onwards and left and right. So you can use resize both. Overflow, let me use automatic. And there is one separate text screen element. For separate text screen element, let me use style class 6. For example, color. Let me use, for example, red here. So if you closely observe, all these are different style classes with CSS properties, but all these are related to appearance related properties. These properties will not change the behavior of the screen element. It is going to change the appearance of the screen elements. All these CSS properties are not going to change the behavior of the actual screen element. Instead, it will change just the appearance and the look and feel of the screen elements. Those type of appearance related properties you need to maintain in a separate .css file. Okay, so like this, you can maintain one .css file with different CSS style classes. Each style class contains different CSS properties with its respective values. So this is basically step 2. If it is working, I'll copy those lines. Step 3 is configure CSS file inside manifest.json file. Configure CSS file inside manifest.json file. So let me right click here, manifest.json file. And you can open with app descriptor editor. So you can go to settings tab. There's data sources, routing, but now you have to go to settings tab. In settings tab, you can see there is SAP UI5 resources. SAP UI5 resources. Here you can configure some of the options. You can click on add here. And see there is add button. In settings tab, if you scroll down, there is SAP UI5 option with resources. Just click on plus symbol. Here you need to link. You need to link your CSS file into Fiori application. The purpose of this one is to link or add an external CSS file to a Fiori application. So click on plus icon here and provide resource type as CSS. Provide resource type as CSS because our file name contains .css as an extension. Provide some URI. For example, our style class name, sorry, our CSS file name. Here you have to provide CSS file name or URI. The ID can be anything. So URI must be CSS file name. File name starts with slash. Then our file name is this one. Let me copy that file name. Oasis styleclass.css. And ID can be anything. Let us just provide the same file name as ID without slash. URI is the important option here. ID is not mandatory, but URI is mandatory, and you should provide the CSS file name with slash. That is important. So click on OK here. So in settings tab, you'll find this. In settings tab, you have to do this. Take the screenshot. So manifest.json file. In settings tab, there is UI5 settings. Go to resource section, click on plus icon. It opens a pop-up here. So here in this pop-up, you need to configure the CSS file name with resource type as CSS. These options you need to configure. So this is basically file name here. Okay, let me click on save this. This is like manifest.json file configuration. What you need to do is, in your case, just right click manifest.json file, open with app descriptor editor. Then go to settings tab. Go to settings tab. And then go to SAP UI5 category. Then go to resource option. Just click on plus icon here. And provide resource type. As URI and provide ID, but that's not mandatory. And click on save. Our resource type must be CSS. URI is nothing but file name, but with slash you have to provide. In our case, to avoid confusion, we have provided file name as ID. Click OK, then click on save. Resource type, URI, and ID. These properties we have configured in resource section of SAP UI5 category in manifest.json file. So we are just linking, we are trying to link our CSS file to our Fiori application with this setting. We are trying to link our .css file into actual Fiori application by configuring manifest.json file. So that is step 3. Step 4 is simple. Now you can assign style class to a screen or screen elements according to your requirement. Assign style class to screen or screen elements according to requirement. For example, object view.xml file. In object view.xml file, there is a simple form. For simple form, I want to assign style class 1. So here, let me go to, for example, object view. In object view, there is simple form 1. First form. In simple form, I want to assign style class 1. This style class 1 I want to assign. So for that reason, what you can do is you can go to simple form and add class as a property here. Provide that style class name. Class equal to, you have to provide property name. For simple form, class is a normal property. Class is a common property for most of the screen elements. So you can use class equal to that style class name. In view.xml files, simple form is a class that contains class as a property and it can be assigned with style class name. For example, let me assign style class 1. So class equal to style class 1 we have used here. Now, simple form contains labels. Simple form also contains labels. For simple form labels, let me assign, for example, style class 2 I want to assign. So simple form contains labels. For labels, let me assign style class 2. So class equal to, you can provide, for example, style class 2. Let me provide for some of the labels here. For some of the labels, I'm using class equal to style class 2. So for labels of simple form, we are using class equal to style class 2. Now there is one separate text screen element here. Text screen element is available as one of the separate screen element to display some Oasis text. So for that, I want to assign different style class here. So here you can see there is a text screen element for describing Oasis technologies. So for this text, let me assign, for example, style class 6. I want to have a text with color red. For text screen element, the color should be red. So let me assign style class 6. So here you can go to text screen element. You can use class equal to, for example, style class 6. Let me take the screenshot. So in object view.xml file, on simple form, we are using class equal to style class 1. On labels, we are using class equal to style class 2. On each label, we are using separate style class equal to style class 2. Now, wherever there is a label, you can use style class 2 here. It can be in same view or different view of that same application. And there is a text screen element. On text screen element, I've used class equal to style class 6. Just to make you understand different options, we have done this. Style class assigned to simple form, labels, and text screen element. Now, not only that, there is a table in our application in object view.xml file. There's a table. On table, let me assign one of the style class. For example, I want to assign, for example, I want to display background image, something like bg.jpg file. I want to assign style class 4 for a table. So let me go to object view, table screen element. Here you can see there's a table screen element. On table screen element, let me add class property here equal to something like style class 4. So I'm expecting a background image bg.jpg file for this table. Okay, let me use class equal to style class 4. Similarly, table contains column labels of a table. Let me assign a style class here. Table contains column labels. For those things, let me assign a different style class here. So class equal to, for example, I want to assign style class 2 here. I want to have green color labels, capitalize, underline, something like that. So let me use style class 2. For this column labels. If it is working on label, it's okay. Otherwise, you can apply directly on a column. Just save this. Okay, let me apply on column. Otherwise, what happens? Let me check. Still, it's not taking. Okay, let us not worry about this. I think it's not taking. So here, if you want, you can try this. Working, it's okay. Otherwise, try with a different style class. Then here you can see there is a microchart. For example, on microchart, I want to use style class 3. Style class 3 contains, you can see style class 3 contains background color orange. I want to use it for example, for microchart. Okay, so let me use style class 3 for microchart here. Okay, there is microchart. On microchart, let me use class equal to style class 3. So on comparison microchart, we are using class equal to style class 3. Style class is assigned to microchart here. Now here, style class 4 is assigned to table. Let me take that screenshot as well. Table contains style class 4. Style class assigned to table. Okay, for microchart, we have used class equal to style class 3. So let me copy that in our node file. Similarly, there is a table 2. Table 2 is getting data from second ordered service. Table 2 getting data from second ordered service. So for that table, let me assign style class 5. Style class 5 contains resize option. You can see style class 5. Style class 5 contains a resize option mainly with some border. So let me assign style class 5 to the table, second table, which is getting data from second ordered service. Let me go to that. So this is a table. It's getting data from second ordered service. For this table, let me use class equal to style class 5. So this is a table getting data from second ordered service. So we are using class equal to style class 5 so that I can have resize option. Style class assigned to table 2. That means data coming from second ordered service. Let me copy this to node file. Similarly, if you want, you can go to layouts. For example, vertical layout or flexbox layout. You can go to any layout and you can assign if you want. You can assign style class 5 or whatever. Let me go to that. That means you can assign style class to a layout also. That is a point here. You can assign style class to a layout. It can be horizontal layout, vertical layout, splitter layout, grid layout, or even a flexbox. Flexbox is also one of the type of layout. So on flexbox layout, let us assign class equal to style class 5. Let us see what happens. So on a layout, it can be vertical layout, horizontal layout, or flexbox layout. You can assign style class. Style class is assigned not only to screen elements, it can be assigned to different types of layouts. Style class assigned to layout, that is Flexbox in this case. Now, these are the options we have used inside object-view.xml file. Object-view.xml file contains different screen elements. It is available with different style classes now. Now there is one more view. Let me open third view this time. Third view.xml file. In third view.xml file, there is a simple form. For that simple form, I want to assign, for example, style class 3. For example, here you can see for third view simple form, there is style class 3 which will display background color as orange. Let me try this. So I'm going to third view now. View.xml file. Third view contains a simple form here. Third view contains simple form. For this simple form, let me use class equal to, that is, for example, style class 3. You can assign any style class. In this case, we are assigning style class 3. So inside third view.xml file, simple form, we are assigning with style class 3. Now you can see some changes when you run the output. Style class assigned to simple form of third view.xml file. Now in this particular CSS file, in CSS file we have used sachinphoto.jpg file and bg.jpg file. So let us import those images. These are custom images, so let us import those images. Sachinphoto.jpg file, bg.jpg file. We have used inside CSS file. So let us import those things. You can right click, project folder, right click your project folder, then import from file system. And you can browse. Here you can see there is one bg.jpg file and sachinphoto.jpg file. Let me import those images. This is one photograph I'm expecting on second view first form. Similarly, let me right click here, import from file system, browse it, select bg.jpg file. This I'm expecting for table. This I'm expecting as a background image for table. Okay, you can save it. Because for simple form of third view, we have used class equal to style class 3. Now step 5 is import all required image files into SAP Fiori project. That is just right click, project folder, import from file system, browse and pick the file. Step 6 is you can save all the files and run the app. Let us check whether it is working or not. Now you can see in second screen, there are some changes you can notice here. So there is a background image for a simple form, sachinphoto.jpg, that is reflected here. for entire simple form. And not only that, okay, you can see, closely observe this output now. So there is a background image with sachinphoto.jpg file. And here you can see this text is red color. Now these labels, the labels font style is italic and color is green. There is a letter spacing 0.5 pixel and word spacing 1 pixel. So you can see that here. So each label, especially we have applied for these labels. All these labels are displayed with green color. Letter spacing is 0.5 pixel. Word spacing is 1 pixel. Color is green. Font style is italic. So that is reflected here. And for text screen element, it is displaying red color. It's also reflected here. So this is after adding CSS style class. You can see some differences on your screen. So simple form output after attaching CSS style class. You can see the difference. And let me go to table. In table, you can see there is some background image. It's not fully reflected, but here, so there is some difference in terms of background for this table. There's a background image associated with this table. Save this. You can see there is some blue background. That is because of background image. The table output after attaching CSS style class. Now, if I go to microchart, you can see microchart contains background color orange. Background color is orange. So you can see that here. Hence, this is the output of microchart after attaching CSS style class. After attaching CSS style class. Spend some time and try to use appropriate and proper colors, proper images, proper background colors and all those things. Similarly, there is a second table getting data from second OData service. This is a second table getting data from second OData service. So this is having a resize option. You can see that. This is a resize option. This is a resize container enabled through CSS. If you want, you can assign this concept to any table, any layout container, any panel, you can do it. So the resize option is enabled on this particular table 2, which is getting data from second OData service. That is done through CSS style class here. So you can resize vertically, you can resize horizontally, it's up to you. So the resize option is enabled. Okay, so here there is a resize container. There's a resize container here. So this is table 2 output after attaching CSS style class for resize option. So that's how you can experience it here. That's done through CSS. And let me go to third view. You can select some record. On selecting record, we are going to third view. In third view, you can see background color is orange. That is because of CSS. So the background color is orange here. You can see that. So that is after attaching CSS. So this is the simple form in third view, which contains a background color as orange. Let me type it here, simple form of third view. After attaching CSS. So most of the things are working. So like that, you can try other different options as well. Now say suppose, think like this. You can make some more changes. Okay, let me copy this version. Maintain collection of CSS style classes with CSS properties and its values inside CSS file. So these are the options we have maintained. Different style classes with different CSS properties and its respective values. They're maintained as part of step 2 inside CSS file. Step 3, we have configured and linked our CSS file to our Fiori application through manifest.json file configuration. Step 4 is we are assigning style class to each of the screen elements according to requirement. We are assigning style class to each of the screen elements according to requirement. And step 5, we have imported all required image files to Fiori project. And then save all the files, run the app. Now say suppose there are other options which we can try. Not important, but we can try this. So I want to assign or attach CSS style class dynamically when user places cursor on the screen element. For example, I want to assign or attach CSS style class dynamically when user places cursor on the screen element. So the solution is simple. You can use hover option on CSS style class. Okay, you can see, for example, style class 3. Style class 3, background color orange. On this style class 3, let me use hover option. HOVER. So you can use this. Similarly, on style class 4, background image bg.jpg file, let me use hover option here. Or let me try it on style class 1 otherwise. Style class 1. You can save and run it. We are using hover option. Now you can see style class 1 is having hover option. So background image is not displayed now. There is no background image for a simple form. But when I place cursor, then you can see background image is enabled. If I place cursor, background image is displayed. That means CSS style class is attached dynamically. OS is style class 1. Style class 1 is attached dynamically when you place cursor on that simple form screen element. If you remove the cursor, then it is back to normal. You can see the difference. When you place cursor on the form, then you can see the background image. and other CSS properties. If you remove the cursor, it is back to normal. So this type of impact you can create on the screens and screen elements by using hover option. Right, not only that, let me go to third view. Third view, you can see third view contains a form. Form is normal. There is no background color. But if I place cursor on the form, then background color is enabled here. If I remove the cursor out of the form, then it is back to normal. If I place cursor on the form, background color is orange. Otherwise, it is normal. That is possible. So that is because of hover option. If you want, you can try on this one. Style class 6. On style class 6, let me use hover option. Save and run it. Now you can see, if you closely observe this, the text is here. The text is by default black color. Here by default the text is black color. But if I place a cursor, then you can see it is converting to red color. Because hover option is used on style class 6. So the text is normal when cursor is out of the form. When the cursor is out of the text screen element. But when I place cursor on text screen element, then it is converting to red color. By default it is black. If I place cursor on text screen element, it is converting to red. That is because of hover option. That is, style class is attached dynamically here. So you can see the difference now. Before and after, you can see that. After placing cursor, then it is changing to red color. If you remove the cursor from the text screen element, it is back to normal. So that is because of hover option. Okay, so as an example, let me copy these lines. You can use hover option on any style class. You can use hover option on style class 1, style class 2, or whatever. I've used it on style class 3 also. Let me copy this. I've used it on style class 6. Now say suppose, think like this. This is not really important, but it's better to know. So suppose I want to display simple form with rotation. The solution is simple. You can go to style class 3. Style class 3. Here you can use, for example, transform. You can use transform property and use something like rotate. For example, I want to rotate -20 degrees. Transform is CSS property. Rotate -20 degrees is a value in this case. The degrees can be up to you. You can have any value. So let me run it. Let me go to third screen. In third screen now, it is back to normal. When I place cursor, you can see it is having a transform with rotation -20 degrees. You can see the output. You can make dynamic like this. Just to highlight that screen element, you can have this type of hover option. So because of transform -20 degrees rotation, you can see after placing cursor, then that's a reflection. So that's possible. If you want, you can try. With over or without over, it's up to you. I've removed hover. Now As soon as the screen is loaded, it is having transform with minus 20 degrees. If you want, you can try. Transform is a CSS property. Rotate with some value. That is the value of this CSS property. Now, if you want to assign CSS through controller, you can assign CSS style class screen element dynamically via controller, event handler, with some condition, whatever. And in that case, this type of code is useful. You want to assign CSS style class to screen element dynamically by a controller through event handler with or without condition. Or without condition, whatever it may be. If you want to do it through controller, then you can use this syntax. Step 1 is first get the reference of that screen element. On which screen element you want to apply, or on which screen element you want to attach CSS style class, get the reference of that screen element. This dot get view dot by ID, provide the ID of that screen element. ID of screen element. And then when you provide ID of screen element, ultimately you will get screen element reference. On which screen element you want to attach CSS style class, for that screen element you have to get the reference. This dot get view dot by ID, provide the ID of screen element. It can be form, table, list, microchart, whatever. You can get the reference of that corresponding screen element. Then step 2 is you can assign CSS style class to the screen element. Assign CSS style class to screen element. That means you can use screen element reference. Use screen element reference dot. You have to use one special method, that is add style class. That's a common method applicable for all the screen elements. If you want to attach style class through controller, you have to use add style class method and provide style class name. CSS style class name. On screen element reference, you have to use add style class as a method. For that method, pass style class name. If you want, you can use if-else conditions and you can assign different style classes based on if-else. If block X style class, Y false block, you can use Y style class, something like that. If you want, you can use conditions. If condition is true, something like that. Then you can assign style class 1. The condition is false. You can assign different style class 2. So on screen element, you can assign different style classes based on condition also if required. By using add style class is a method. For that, you can use a different style class here inside if-else blocks. But ultimately, this is the main thing. First, get the reference of screen element, then assign CSS style class to the screen element. To assign CSS style class to screen element, you have to use add style class method. Provide style class name. If you want, you can use this statement inside conditions, if-else blocks. You can try. So, add style class is a common method. Applicable for all screen elements. It's a common method applicable for all screen elements in order to assign style class In order to assign style class, you can use add style class as a common method on any screen element. It can be form, list, table, input field, text screen element, or anything. Now, if you want to explore more CSS properties, I've provided some of the CSS properties here. Background image, font size, font style, color, text alignment, letter spacing, word spacing, background color, background image we have used, resize, etc. But if you want, you can try other CSS properties, how to get those things. So here, let me give that information. For more information on CSS properties and its values, our procedure in theory will not change. But if you want to explore more number of properties, different properties, then you can visit this below website and you can experiment different options. So let me open that. So here, W3 Schools, CSS. So here you can see w3schools.com/CSS. If you go to this, then you will find various CSS properties and its respective values and the behavior, appearance behavior. So w3schools.com/CSS. Here you can find different options and different properties that you can use it in our Fiori apps also. Here you can see, okay, let me just take the screenshot first. If you find free time, try to do some research on different properties. So there will be different options here. For each of the option, there will be some CSS properties values. Those CSS property values can be used in our CSS file and you can experiment with our Fiori screen elements. So here you can see there are different options here. For example, if you want to go for text, CSS text, different types of formatting, then you can use. Here you can see background color, and something like that. For text, you can provide. We have used color as one of the property in style class 6, something like this. If you want text alignments, then you can see these are the different properties. Text hyphen align center, text align left, or text align right. So you can use these properties and its respective values in our CSS file and you can assign to our Fiori screen elements and you can experiment. For text decoration, you can see there is text decoration. There are some properties here. Text decoration line, there are different properties with its values. So you can see here. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, let me try these things. Text decoration line, underline, text decoration color green. We try it in our Fiori app. Example in this one. I've used this one. Text decoration line, underline. It's already available, but anyhow, let me use it. And text decoration color as green. Okay, now you can see there is a green color text with underline. You can see that. So it's reflected. You can get properties from that CSS, W3 Schools CSS link, and you can use it in our Fiori app and you can experiment like this. So now there is a text with green color and there is an underline option also available here. You can see that. Okay, so you can use like this. Okay, so here you can use different options. Similarly, text transformation, there are different options here. Text transform, you can use uppercase, text transform, lowercase, text transform, capitalize. In our case, we have used capitalize. But if you want, you can use text transform uppercase, for example. Let me try this property. Text transform, let me use uppercase. Uppercase is one of the value. Save it and you can run it. Now you can see all the labels are available with uppercase here. Wherever that style class is attached, for those things, all the letters they're in uppercase. So you can get the properties and its values from the W3 schools, and you can experiment in Fiori app by adding that CSS style class properties along with its values in our CSS file. Try different options here. Let me use capitalize, commonly used. So it is back to normal. So first word, first letter is uppercase, second word, first letter is uppercase. All letters are not uppercase. Only first word, first letter, second word, first letter. Each word, first letter is uppercase here now because of capitalize option for these labels. Okay, then here you can see text spacing. In text spacing, you can see some options here. Letter spacing, you can see that. Letter spacing is one of the options. You can increase or decrease in terms of pixels. And text shadow. You can see text shadow. Let me try if it works or whether it works or not. You can see there is text shadow option. Different options with different output. You can see that. Okay, let me try this. Text shadow, this option. Style class 6 I've added. Let us remove over. It's not required anymore. Now you can see there is text shadow, the output of this particular text screen element. Just focus on this. There is some change in the output. If you want, you can increase this to have proper output. Use font size, for example, 9 pixel. Let me try. Okay, it is decreased, so let me increase it. Okay, you can see now there is some difference in representation of this particular text. There is a text shadow option here. It's not displaying as a normal text, it is displaying with text shadow option. So you can bring impact to our screen elements by adding these different CSS properties. Okay, let me try a different option. Text shadow with, okay, let me try this. Okay, this output. Okay, let me try this. Text shadow with some values. Okay, you can see the difference in this text screen element. Text screen element, the output has changed slightly here. It's back to normal. It's back to normal. Okay, so here, not only that, for each of these options, you can try. Say, suppose I want to use border images or background, then you can go to this CSS borders. CSS borders, you can see here. CSS background, CSS rounded colors, you can have all these options. So there is a CSS rounded corners here. You can see that. Okay, let me try the second one or third option. You can try these properties. For example, on resize, let me use it. Now you can see there is a table and table output has changed here. You can see we are having rounded corner. We are having rounded corner and there is some border with green color, background color, and along with that there is a resize option. This is a data coming from second OData service. So that is modified here. So you can bring the same impact in our Fiori apps by taking CSS properties from here. CSS properties, but you can change the values. You can increase the values or you can decrease the value in terms of pixels when you're using height, width, padding, border radius, etc. Okay, so that's how you can try different options. And you can see border images. You can have border images. You can see something like this. For border itself, you can have an image. So you can see there is a border hyphen image. You can provide like this. And CSS colors. So there are different types of colors and colors can be provided in with the different combinations here. Colors can be provided with a different combination. So let me provide this color picker where it is. Let me go to this. So as of now, what we have done is in our Fiori app, we are using color as red, color as orange, or color as green. Instead of using these names, I want to use values. Then you can get color values from color mixer here or color picker. You can see this. So you can have a different color combination so that you can use it in our Fiori app also if required. So here you can provide color name directly or you can use RGB, red, green, blue combination. You can use red, green, blue combination also if required. Say suppose, let me use RGB 153, 0, 51. Red is 153, green is 0, blue is 51. Then you can get this type of color combination in your output. So for that, you can use this value directly. Okay, so let me go to this. For example, there is background color as orange. Instead of using orange value directly, you can use a combination RGB, red, green, blue, something like 153, 0, 51. So that is possible. So let me go to third screen. In third screen, now you can see that. Let me remove hover option. Let us not worry about that hover. Okay, let me remove this rotate option. Rotate option is not required. So now you can see there is a different color for this third screen simple form. This is added by using RGB combination, red, green, blue combination. So we are able to get this type of output. So you need not specify the color names directly. Instead, you can use RGB combination. That combination, you can also get it through color picker from CSS, W3 Schools CSS tutorial, you can get it here. If you want a different combination with this one, for example, this, then you can use RGB 102, 255, 204. That can be used in our application. I've changed RGB combination here. Let us check the output. So now you can see the color combination has changed. So the point here is in our Fiori apps also, you can have a CSS style class with background color with RGB combinations here, or color with RGB combinations, red, green, blue. And that you can get it through color picker from this W3 Schools as well. Okay, let me do that screenshot here. Go to this site, you can get a different color combinations. For this, you need to spend some time and you can explore. You can pick the color and that is reflected here and that value will be displayed. And this value, you can use it in our Fiori app. You can directly use this or you can use this. You want, you can use this or you can use this in your Fiori app. You can use these values. After selecting the right color, appropriate color, we can use these values in our Fiori app CSS file, the form of properties along with its values. So that is possible. Let me take this link. So let me write a note here. In SAP Fiori apps, we can use different colors. We can use color mixer combination. That is RGB, red, green, blue combination. So you can get the color mixer from below website and use it in Fiori app. So you can go to this w3schools.com/colors colors_picker.asp. That's a direct link. For example, after going to that, you can have like this. Selecting color in your Fiori app .css file, you can use background-color. Instead of using green, blue, yellow, white direct names, you can use RGB combination like this by getting color mixer from this website. So that's also possible. What you do is spend some time. You spend some time in this particular tutorial to get some different properties. It's not possible to explain all the properties. So Just spend some time on your own and get some properties and use those things here in .css file in Fiori app and check the output by running our application in browser. Get different CSS properties from here, add those properties along with values here in CSS file in our Fiori app, and then test the output by running application in browser. Okay, so you can keep trying. You can explore more and more. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Yeah, what's the doubt?
Yeah, while accessing that CSS class, we are writing class, then class name.
Class equal to style class name, not class name.
Okay.
Technically, it is style class name.
Okay, no need to give any path, right? Directly it will access that class.
No, it's not required. Just provide class name. There is no need of dot and all those things. When you're accessing style class, you just provide style class name. That's it. So here, style class 1. While creating style class, you have to use dot style class. While creating style classes, you have to use dot style class. But while assigning style class to screen element, just provide style class name. That's it.
No, it is always style class, or we can take any name.
Style class name you have to use. If you are not using style class name, then how it will assign CSS properties? If you are using XYZ
actually,
here.
I am asking. Okay. I am asking about is there any naming convention is there, or it will start with style keyword?
No, the name of the style class can be anything. Here you can use XYZ as a style class name. The same XYZ you have to refer for the screen element.
Okay.
Okay. There is no naming convention here. The name of the style class can be anything, but the same name should be referred when you're attaching style class to the screen element at view level. Okay, so here, while creating style class, the name can be anything. But the same name must be referred while attaching style class to the screen element. Otherwise, it will be mismatch. If you use X while creating the style class, then use the same X for attaching the style class to the screen element. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next down.
One more doubt. This CSS file we can use only for view, means for look and fields. We cannot use in controller class, right?
No. In controller, there won't be any screen elements in controller, right?
Yeah.
These are mainly for screens and screen elements. Appearance is for screens and screen elements. So CSS properties is for screens and screen elements. Okay. Our screens and screen elements are created through view.xml file. That's the reason why we are mostly attaching style class in XML file, object view.xml file or third view.xml file. But in case if you want to assign dynamically, that you can do it through these two lines. You can get the reference of screen element in controller, and for that screen element you can attach style class by using add style class method. So this is to assign style class dynamically through controller, but ultimately it is applied on screen element. Whatever it may be, ultimately it is applied on a screen element. Whether you directly do it at view level or controller level, but ultimately we are getting the reference of the screen element. On screen element, you are attaching style class.
Okay.
So we can attach style class directly at view level. Directly at view level by using screen element name as equal to style class. We can attach style class by a controller. Ultimately, it is applied on screen element. For that, you have to use screen element reference. Screen element reference dot add style class method, and we can assign style class name. But you have to get the reference of that screen element by using this dot get view dot by ID. Here, 2 lines you have to write. You have to use this dot get view dot by ID. Get the reference of that. Okay, so here, if you are attaching style class via controller, then you have to write 2 lines. If you are attaching style class directly at view level, just use screen element name class equal to style class name. The second thing is required when you want to use conditions. Otherwise, it's not really needed. The second thing, that is adding style class via controller, is required when you want to apply conditions. Then this type of code is useful. Next down.
Hello, sir. Jitendra here.
Yeah, what's it down?
So, while in text element, while we type something, if you are typing in lowercase, then it automatically converts to uppercase. So that is a functionality in the style class or something else?
You're talking about this one, this CSS properties.
No. Suppose in the view we have a text field, right? Something we are input field, text input field, and we type something and it automatically converts to the uppercase.
Because if you are using class name, if you are using class name, then it will be I will be uppercase, right? Even if you type input, it's not converting, right? So here, when you are using class name, then it should be I uppercase. I don't know where it is happening for you. I'm not sure.
No, sir. It is not in the view.xml. In the screen output, if there is suppose enter a first name, so we type something here in small case and it automatically converts to uppercase. So that is due to style case.
Where it is happening, it's not happening, right? So here.
No, if I want to do that.
If you want to do that, then what you can do is, if you want to automatically convert, then I think you have to use live change event. So in the coming days, we are going to use live change event. In live change event, we are going to assign event handler. In event handler, you can convert it. You can take that value and you can convert to uppercase to lowercase or lowercase to uppercase or anything. That is possible. But for that, you have to use a live change event. Okay, so in the coming days, we are going to do it while applying validations and all those things. We are going to do it.
Okay.
Or else here you can see, if you want, here you can see, let me try on one input field. For example, first name, let me add that live change. For that, let me assign event handler. For example, convert EH, something like that. Convert EH, let me implement in controller just to test it. So here what you do is get that value, get the value from that input field. This dot get view dot by ID. Provide the ID of that screen element. For example, first name. F name is ID. Dot get value. We have to capture that value. Where then you'll get some value, first name value. Now that value you have to convert it and you have to assign to the same screen element by using set value. So here fname dot, you have to convert from, I want to convert everything to, for example, uppercase. All the letters I want to convert to uppercase. Then you can use a JavaScript method. So to uppercase. To uppercase. So you will get text now. Name value that you will get it in uppercase, so that you can assign to the same screen element. This dot get view dot by ID, provide the ID of that screen element. Fname dot, you can use set value. Instead of get value, try with set value now. Set value, you can assign Fname value, which is in uppercase. Let me check whether it works or not. Or else there may be another technique. I'm not sure, but let me try this first. We're using live change. So here, let me use, you can see now it is converting and it is displaying everything. Whenever I type something, by default, it is taking uppercase now. Internally, live change event is converting each value to uppercase. If I go to last name, I did not apply live change on last name. So you can see here, it's not converting all the letters. As soon as I type, it is using the normal text in last name. But in case of first name, I've used live change event. I've captured the value, I've converted to uppercase, and it is assigned to the same screen element with set value method. So that's the reason why each letter, as soon as I type, it is converting to uppercase and it is taking in that manner. So I hope you understood that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
So here we are capturing the value, we are converting that value to uppercase, and we are setting the value. Here we are getting the value from the screen element and we are setting the value. Here we are using two methods. First getter method, then we are using setter method. For setter method, we are passing the converted value, which is in uppercase, because we have used two uppercase as one of the JavaScript method. Okay, so those JavaScript methods I'll be giving a list of common JavaScript methods. I'll be providing it to you. Then you can try those options. Don't worry now. Let me remove this.
Yeah.
Let us make it normal. Now it is back to normal. So it's not happening. No conversions are happening. It is using as it is. There is no conversion. There is no live change event. Okay, yeah. So if you want, you can try this JavaScript methods. Here you can see, you can go to JavaScript string methods. Here you can see that. You can use those things if needed. This is commonly required. In the coming days, I was about to give it, but anyhow, just highlight this. You can go to JavaScript string methods here from W3 Schools. And these are the different JavaScript string methods. You can capture the length of the string, substring. You can replace one string with another string. You can convert string to uppercase. You can convert string to lowercase. You can concatenate one string with another string. You can split the string. You can trim. You can trim at the start. You can trim at the end. So all these are string related methods. So you can use it comfortably in UI5 or Fiori apps. How to use it? There are some examples also available here at the bottom. You can see text.length, and you can see text.slice method, and you can see something like string.substring. How to use it also available here. And you can use those methods in our Fiori apps comfortably without changing any syntax. So text.replace method, replacing Microsoft with W3 Schools, something like that. If you want to replace one string with another string, you can use replace method. Similarly, here you can see, these are all replace methods. And then you can find, here you can see string.to uppercase. We have used just now. String.to lowercase. You can see, you can concatenate one string with another string. So JavaScript string methods that can be useful. Okay, let me take the screenshot now itself. Otherwise, we are able to use it, but anyhow, let me save this now. JavaScript string methods can be used in UI5 Fiori apps. As an example, just now I shown you fname value dot we have used to uppercase. That is a method taken from JavaScript and we have used it in our controller. So like that, you can get it from here. If you spend some time on these methods, you'll be able to get complete clarity over those string methods. Okay, let me take that link directly here, string methods. Let me copy this. Let me provide here itself as part of main file. Explore JavaScript string methods. And just go to this and you can use it in our controller file comfortably. Okay, let me copy these lines also. But how to use it? Those examples are also available here. Okay, so based on that syntax, you can use it in our Fiori app and you can achieve that. Next doubt. Now, can I use string methods in formatter function? Yes, of course, you can use it here. Say suppose there is a table. In table, I want to display all these things. For example, I want to display full name, everything in uppercase. Some are uppercase, some are lowercase here, but I want to display everything in uppercase for this entire full name. So definitely you can use this string methods in formatter functions also in formatter file. That is possible. Here you can see, for example, if I go to formatter.js file. In formatter.js file, I think we have used first name, last name here. We are concatenating first name and last name, but I want to display everything in uppercase, for example. Then you can change the syntax here, where full name, and you can use full name dot to uppercase or to lowercase, whatever, and you can return that. We're concatenating first name, last name, and we are returning full name with uppercase. We are doing this for each and every record because this formatter function is executed for each and every record in a table. For each record, the full name will be in uppercase. So that means you can use string methods of JavaScript inside your formatter files in formatter functions. Not only in controllers, you can do it through formatter functions. It all depends. So let me check now what happens. Inside a table, full name values must be, everything should be uppercase according to our latest code now. So here you can see now, it is reflected. All the letters are in uppercase. Because the string method to uppercase is used in formatter function. So all the letters of this full name is uppercase for each and every record in a table also. Because this we have done it through formatter function, through formatter file. So everything is reflected. So you can apply string methods through formatter file if it is for list, table, microchart, something like that. Can be used in controller file and formatter file depending upon the requirement. The methods are common. Next doubt. One more doubt. Are you able to insert, delete, update record? That is very important. Are you able to do that? How to insert record, how to update record, how to delete record? Are you able to get that output? Hello, students. Are you able to?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about others? Are you able to get that output? Insert, delete, update operations, because In the next week, we are going to deal with multiple records. Next week, we are going to deal with multiple records. In the previous sessions, what we have done is we are trying to deal with single record. We are inserting single record, we are updating single record, or we are deleting single record. So first complete this example. Then the next concept will be very simple. How to insert multiple records or how to update multiple records. That becomes very simple once if you understand this. So in the next week, we are going to deal with multiple records insertion. So that's the reason why try that example, insert, delete, update operation before you attend the next session. Next session, we are going to deal with multiple records. That's the reason why try this example first. Any other doubt? No? Ajay, Varsha, Srinivas, Abdul, any doubt? Vipul, Vivek?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay.
Mhm.